Good morning. It is Tuesday. It is July the 6th. And I know I missed yesterday. It was kind of a holiday, even though it wasn't the 4th. But I'm back in the saddle. I'm going to make every effort to do one of these a day and put them up there. And if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to the channel, my YouTube channel. Like the video, share it if you will. And that'll make it continue to populate and we'll get more response. Today I want to share with you something that's sort of a blast from the past, but it's always timely. Give you a little bit of a story. Many years ago, when we lived in a different house, I was out cutting the grass and my wife came out with the phone. And it was a friend of mine, Billy Arsalan. And Billy has his own YouTube channel. He's a motivational speaker. He's a consultant for safety, great guy. And he and I were part of a team that was based out of Manresa, a retreat center along the Mississippi River. And we were part of the team that kind of took the message outside the walls of the retreat center. We called it the outreach group. And we weren't really close at that point. We were very friendly and stuff like that. But Billy called and he said that he had been praying in the morning, and clear as day, the Lord told him to write a book called The Journey and to get with me and write it together. Well, coincidentally, I had been formulating in my mind the idea of writing a book based on the journey. And so immediately I said, yes. So make a long story short, we got together over breakfast, and Billy taught me about mind mapping, which is a way to start to write a book. It's where you take the broader picture and then you reduce it to smaller sections and smaller sections and smaller sections, and you get the title for your book, the chapters for your book, the sub-chapters for your book. You can even get all the way down to the paragraphs of your book. But in this case, what I knew for a long time is that life's success is not where you wind up. It's the journey there. It's the progressive realization of worthwhile dreams. It's not the ultimate realization of a worthwhile dream. And so it's important that we establish our daily life in a way that is continuing to move toward the realization of whatever your worthwhile goal, ambition, dream, or whatever it is would happen to be. In regards to that, I had for a long time been aware that there is a way to kind of prioritize your life, to kind of structure it. We call it kind of the hierarchical structure of your life, and some things are more important than other things. And so as we got writing the book, we realized that the very first chapter of the book has to be about God. Put God first in your life. And so we put a whole section together about God. And then the second part was family. We put a whole section together on family. And then the third was work. And we put a whole section together on work. And then after work comes the things that are hobbies or things you like to do or whatever. And we structured the book around that, and kind of called it the vertical alignment: God, family, work, stuff. And the book came out and we prayed about it. Writing a book is an arduous task because you have to get editors, you have to get peer reviewers, you have to do a lot of things to make sure that the content of the book is effective and it's going to work. And when we got to the end, we didn't name the book The Journey. We named it Journeying on Holy Ground, which for us at the time was important because some of our peer reviewers were Catholic priests, spiritual people, not just businessmen, not just motivational speakers, not just authors. And so we wrote the book, and one of the priests who was a peer reviewer of our book told us that we needed to immediately develop a 3-night retreat based upon the book. First night on God, second night on family, third night on work. And we endeavored to do that, and we promoted the sale of the book through going around to church after church and doing 3-day missions. Now, we didn't charge for the missions. All we did was say, do we have permission to sell our book? And if we were allowed to do that, then it was fine. Some churches, when we showed up, did send us a stipend afterwards to cover our costs. But really, the purpose was not to make money on the retreats. The purpose was to get the word out, get the message out, and along the way, utilize the book as a way to getting that message out. So how does it work? Well, I'm share a little story with you that is fundamental. I'm doing marriage prep one time with this couple, and Catholic gal, non-Catholic guy, but the Catholic guy, non-Catholic guy had gone to a Catholic high school. And we were talking, and we get to this part of the Scantron review where it's on spirituality and religion. And he bows up and basically says to me, you know, I told you at the beginning I was an atheist, and I don't think any of this stuff is important. I think all you have to do is follow the 10 Commandments. Well, he had told me he was an atheist. And so I looked at him, I figured he's busted. He didn't even realize it. And I asked him, I said, do you know what the 10 Commandments are? He said, hey, I went to Catholic school. I said, well, tell me what the first one is. And he got very quiet because he realized that you can't be an atheist and believe in the first commandment, which is put God first above all things. So there is a story about somebody that was professed to be atheist, but he really wasn't. And that has to do with a rebellious attitude. And those are the things that get us out of humility. And when we're out of humility, we're out of submission to God. When we're out of submission to God, we're on a bad track. The scriptures tell us, the commandments tell us, put God first. Above all things, put God. And when we do that, we orient our life in a way that we put our prayer life on a pedestal. We put our sacramental life on a pedestal. We endeavor to make things spiritual more important than other things. Now, this gets kind of hairy when you say that that should be more important than your family life, but it should be, because your family should be after God. So if the choice is God or your spouse, choose God, because God gave you your spouse. You know, Abraham was given that choice. Choose God or your son. He chose God, and God blessed him, and he got his son. And we have to have total faith that the mercy of God has our best interest in mind. Once we get that down, that God is first, then we can focus on our family, and we can have a family life that's centered around God. So, for example, if you have a child or a grandchild, teach them to pray. Teach them basic prayers. Give them blessings on their forehead on a regular basis so they know that God is important to you. And if it's important to you, it will be important to them, because they want to emulate you in things that they do. So it's important that we pass on that. When I do a baptism and there's grandparents and great-grandparents, I always emphasize that, look, we are passing this baptism from a great-grandparent to a grandparent to a parent to the child. This is 4 generations. We've been doing this for 2,000 years. Isn't it awesome how we pass our faith down and have been doing it for 2,000 years? That's incredibly important, and it's instructional. The last thing about this whole hierarchy is work. What I am going to do is I'm going to save the discussion of work to a later video, because there are some parts about work that we need to understand, and we can do it in a context of being successful in life. which then results in being able to take care of your family and do the things that you have to do. So for today, this very short 10-minute video was designed to reintroduce the concept of a vertical alignment where God is first, family is second, work is third, and then our interests are below that. And we'll be able to expand upon that as we get into some other videos. So today's a very non-controversial video. No politics, no current events, no news, but very spiritual in nature. So, once again, I hope that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I hope that you like the video and share it. And I will endeavor to do a short video like this every day. With that, you have a wonderful day. Know that God loves you, and God bless.